figured it out. Yay. Oh, my ears are buzzing. What's happening? Hold on. Something very weird just happened. Okay, we are good to go. Hopefully this is coming up on Facebook. Is this coming up on Facebook? Anybody that's on my Instagram? This is like a whole new thing that we're trying. So fingers crossed it's on Facebook. Jasmine, can you let me know if it is on Facebook?
It says, okay, we've got 6 viewers now.
Okay, great. So it's coming on. It's coming on. Yes, 6 viewers. Beautiful. A whole new thing that we're trying. So fingers crossed. Oh, is that on your phone, Asti?
Yeah, I was just watching your Instagram. That's why you can hear yourself.
I was like, what's happening? Haley, it should be it should be coming up on Facebook now. We're just letting it load. Oh, hi, Jasmine. Yay. Okay, we've got it working on Facebook. So, Haley, it's on my private Facebook page. Yes, we're all on Facebook. Woo! Okay, we've had to like download this new thing, so I'm glad it's all working. So good.
Do you want to add me to your Insta story quickly?
Yeah, let's add you to the Insta story.
So I can send people over.
Yeah, wait, have you joined the Insta story? Can you request to be added into it? And then, yeah, send everybody over. So I'm just going to say, beautiful, join our Facebook live, details in my story. I might just quickly get Asti before we start, Haley, to just stay on my Facebook to add people as friends. 1 second, let me just message her. Oh my God, so guess what I did today? I did a whole entire uni assignment, but in one day, it's fucking finished. How amazing is that? Talk about hashtag productivity. I know. People always ask about
flow.
Like, so much flow. I actually was listening to, those binaural beats that are really good.
Yeah.
They were just like productive as fuck. Oh, there's Asti. Okay, do you want to join the Facebook Live? Hey, can you keep accepting? Okay. Oops. There you are. Hello, Peanut. Accepting people's.
So I've been the exact same as you this week. Like I've been here for a week now and I feel like I've done nothing. I feel like I've been around drinking podcast since I've been here, and I've created a full 5-day program.
Yeah, what's your
program?
When
you're in flow, it just like it feels so easy. So I haven't mentioned it yet. It's kind of just been like behind the scenes work.
Wait, can you tell me a little bit about it or not? I can't wait for the retreat. I want to learn how to lap dance. I feel like I've got this innate ability to lap dance. I've always said to people, because before I understood like the whole sensuality stuff, right? I'm just going to put Peanut down because she wants to get down. Before I understood the whole sensuality stuff, I actually used to say to people, I'm concerned. I think I have a talent for like strip dancing. Like it just runs in our family in terms of me and my little sister. We can just move our hips like no one's business. And I've always wanted to give a lap dance, always, but never really had the opportunity to. So I cannot wait for the retreat for when you teach us how to do a proper lap dance. I have been waiting my whole life for this. Like shit you not. I literally remember having conversations with girlfriends like on the train coming home from school being like, I just want to strip dance. Like that's all I want to do. I just want to fucking do a lap dance for a really hot guy sitting on a chair. Like, is that too much to ask?
It was so much fun. And do you know what? It was actually really empowering to see, because obviously all of the women that I'm here with are like quite empowered and in touch with their sexuality. Like they've been doing this work for a long time, but most of them had never given a lap dance and or received a lap dance. And a lot of them afterwards for us. Now I understand that feminine power, sexuality. Like there's so much power in receiving the lap dance as well as giving it.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. So fucking juicy. So ladies, as we talk, please pop in questions. This is your opportunity for us to talk about different things, for you to get free coaching pretty much. So put in any questions. I will keep checking Instagram, but most of you are on my Facebook, which is amazing. So, hey, Asti, do you want to chuck something on your Facebook page set with a link to mine so people make sure they're listening in if they're wondering where the fuck Asti is? Because I don't know if it's going to show up on yours unless you can share it.
I've had to disconnect from Instagram. There's like a crazy storm going on outside, so I can't connect to True with the Wi-Fi here.
Okay, maybe just post it on your Facebook page. But yeah, ladies, pop in all of your questions so we can answer them because we want to get into the juicy stuff. Let's talk about money, manifestation. Oh, You know, we should start talking. Let's have this conversation that we had before you went to Crete about bougie life. So I posted on Instagram a post about like, you know, what it really entails to feel like a queen and just like permission to allow yourself to like buy luxury things. Because I feel like for a lot of women, there's a lot of shame around wanting to buy material things and wanting to, you know, have expensive purchases. And because there's a very big thing now with like minimalism and eco-friendliness, which is so fab. Like we know I'm all for it. Like, hello, my dad's like fighting for climate change. So we know we're all for that over here. But there's also this piece of permission of like, you're allowed to buy a fancy handbag if you want to buy one, or you're allowed to lash out and buy material goods. And it doesn't make you this materialistic, like stuck up bitch. It just makes you wanting to feel like you're luxurious. And I got some hate on that Instagram post actually, just with people being like, you know, just, you know, having a go at me of saying, you know, how could you do this to the environment? What about the poor people in Africa? And I'm like, okay, this is the problem, right? I feel like a lot of people, they almost think too deep into things. And it's like, you're creating a meaning that's not there.
Yeah. And there's this disconnect. Like I actually was thinking about this a couple of days ago because my inner like spiritual power and doing kind of like, I guess, quote unquote hippie shit. But I also love like designer handbags, wearing like sexy lingerie. And for a long time, I felt like I couldn't figure out who I was because people were like, every time I see you, you're like a different person. You go from being like super hippie to super like glam. And I felt really confused being like drawn between these two spaces. And now I've finally realized like you can be both. Like the other day I got up and I did like a few hours of like inner work and meditation. And then I got myself dolled up, put on like amazing makeup and put on sexy lingerie. Because I was like, fuck it. Like I want to be this luxurious like bougie bitch, but I also want that like spiritual aspect to myself.
Oh my God, I can
have it all.
Like this. Yes, I used to have this inner battle when I was like younger, about like, you know, am I allowed to, like what's my style? It was always like, I'm trying to figure out my style because some days I don't want to wear like a boho thing and have my hair like wavy and boho and wear Birkenstocks or wear bare feet. And then other days I want to wear a girl boss suit and I felt like I had to choose. And it's so funny. I was having this conversation on a sales call the other day with a woman, and she said that like someone told her that she's got too many sides to her personality. And I was like, whoa, let's just like sit with that for a second, because you're allowed to also, as a woman, have different personalities. And I feel like, again, there needs to be some permission around, we have so many different archetypes. Like you got 4 different phases of your cycle. You are allowed to one day wear a boho dress and the next day wear a girl boss suit. You're allowed to one day be feeling really like, you know, nurturing and just want cuddles all day long. And then the other day you want to just like give lap dances to everybody and be dancing off the rooftop. Like that's allowed. Like why isn't that allowed?
If you have all of these personalities, it means with them you have all of these individual powers, so you can pull on each of these powers depending on when you need them.
Love it. Yes. Totally agree. Okay, let's jump onto this question. So
another thing is like, if you have done all the work to feel amazing on the inside, why the fuck shouldn't you look amazing on the outside?
Yes. And
like
wait,
to
someone's going to jump in here though, Asti, and go, but you look amazing natural. Yes, you do look amazing natural, but you're also allowed
I've got a lot of makeup on right now. Like I also put in the effort. Like today I woke up and I was like, I'm going to feel fucking amazing today. And I'm going to represent that on the outside. Like, it's like I like doing your makeup and getting dressed up can really help shift that energy.
Oh my God, I'm all about that. That's one of the biggest things that helps me step into the feminine is like putting effort into my hair. Like I've been struggling since my surgery, not curling my hair, because that makes me feel feminine and whatever. And I can't obviously stand on 2 legs to do it. And I love like putting jewelry on, putting my makeup on, getting dressed, choosing outfits. Like I love that. And I used to think that when I started this health journey, I wasn't allowed to still have my passion for like style and clothes and like, and all that stuff. But I am allowed. I'm so fucking allowed. Like it's all about what feels good to you is perfect. Like when you're trying to be like, am I allowed? It's because you're basing it off what somebody else has told you or what you think somebody else's story looks like. So I'm basing my story, or like what I'm allowed, quote unquote, allowed to do off like other Instagram people. And I'm like, oh, well, they're always boho. So therefore I always have to be boho. I can't be boho on a Tuesday and on a Friday wearing a fucking girl boss suit. Yeah.
Me, I'm dancing around naked one day and then like fully glam in my heels the next day.
Totally. Oh my God. Okay. So this first question that we've got in is, how do I use my yoni egg to help manifest more abundance? Oh my God. Yes. First thing is, and then Asti, I'm totally going to let you lead this one, is like, you ladies need to remember that those first 3 chakras, so your root, sacral, and solar plexus, that's where all of your sexual energy is. Now, sexual energy is creative energy, yeah? When you are able to tap in and let your sexual energy flow, not only are you going to be able to step more into alignment with what's creatively on purpose for you, but also your sexual energy is like the highest vibration you can get. And when you can get yourself to that orgasmic bliss, it makes it 10 times easier to manifest. Okay, Asti, you jump in.
So exactly what you just said, but also when you're in your body, you're disconnected from ego. So you're not in your head with that overload of like limiting beliefs and self-doubt, everything that's holding you back from that manifestation. So if you can completely disconnect from this part and go straight into your close to having what you want, because all of that bullshit is just scared, it's automatically pulled you up to alignment with having that thing. 100%. So when it comes to the actual like how to use the jade egg, like on like practice wise, if you're trying to manifest a like a state of being, like you want to manifest feeling love or bliss or joy in your body, one really simple way that you can do that is just to hold the jade egg in your hand before inserting it and just set that intention and just feel the jade egg fill up with that quality that you're wanting to embody. So then when you do go to insert the jade egg, you can visualize that energy and that vibration radiating throughout your entire being.
Totally agree. And also definitely remember that just think about it. When you have an orgasm, in that moment when you have an orgasm, you're not thinking about a limiting belief or like, oh, I look too fat, or check out my cellulite, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not loved. Like, that is pure bliss, right? Mm-hmm. That, I mean, when you're manifesting from that, it's like, hello, magic. It's called sex magic for a fucking reason.
Yeah. So when people go wrong with manifestation, because they'll like think, I want to manifest my dream relationship. And what they'll do is they'll just sit down, close their eyes and like think about Mr. Perfect. But because they've just sat down and they're still in this current reality, it's not going to happen. So once you come down into your body and you lift your level of vibration, you elevate that to the level of your desire. So if you want something, you can't just think about it, thinking about it logically on like a...
Oh, you cut out, babe.
Body on an unconscious level, feel into having.
You there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, totally agree.
Did that come across? I know this is probably going to be a little bit awkward with the weather and everything.
No, we got most of it.
Okay.
Super juicy.
So basically, it's just you want to be feeling whatever it is that manifests.
Oh, you cut out again.
It's not even oh no.
Okay, now you're back. Basically what we're saying, ladies, is that when you're manifesting, you can't be focused on the how. You got to be focused on the feelings and the why. So when you're manifesting and you're trying to think about how it's going to happen, or you've got any limiting beliefs in the way, it's going to block your vibration from being that pure, divine, high vibration of joy, orgasmic bliss. And when you're in your body and you have that orgasmic state, you're out of your ego. It allows you to be at the highest vibration, to be that magnetic match for the thing that you want. And what was I saying before? I've had a total brain fart. Remember what I was saying before? Oh, you can't focus on your how when you're manifesting. You got to focus on why, and you cannot be just in your head of like, I want, and focusing on lack. You got to be focusing on how you're going to feel when you get that, because like the law of attraction, what you focus on, you get. So if you focus on how you're going to feel and all that, then you're able to be you as yourself, can be the match for that, right? Like when people say, I want all these things in a guy, it's like, okay, well, let's write your list, okay? And okay, obviously you can't can't start like, you know, having a sleeve tattoo if you want. We all know Monica likes fucking guy with a sleeve tattoo. You can't have the sleeve tattoo, but when you're writing things down for your guy of like, I want someone that's committed to themselves, I want someone that spends time in nature, X, Y, and Z, you need to go do those things, because when you start to embody it, you can then feel into that and be the energetic match for that guy.
Mm-hmm. And going deeper with that, like it's not even specifically the guy that you want, right? It's the feeling that you're going to have being in that relationship. So what you're chasing isn't the physical manifestation, it's the embodied emotion that having that physical manifestation is going to give you. So you don't want to be focusing on the thing, you want to be focusing on the feeling. And you embodying that feeling is going to bring you the thing.
100%. And that's why in the retreat and stuff, we're going to be doing like obviously so much of the quantum field stuff, because when I can get my clients to understand that all they are is energy and all we are is energy, and there are some deep exercises we're going to be doing, and I'm so fucking excited for them. When you can understand that everybody else in that circle of women that you're with, when you can understand that they are also just energy, you understand it's like, oh, so I'm not focused on, right, when you're focused on how somebody looks, how you look, human material stuff, except for the bougie things, you're focused on ego, right? When you are able to tap into your energy and to the other person's energy, then that is where you're like quantum field and really able to experience it all.
Mm-hmm. And I have a whole course on this. I have a whole sex manifestation course. So I would love, or like we would love to hold a sex magic practice, which doesn't mean you have to be naked. You don't have to be self-pleasuring, but it's just tapping into your sexual energy within your body and using that to manifest. And we'll go through all of that.
I'm sure we could even like kind of teach it and then allow the girls to go off into their bedrooms and do it, and then come back in an hour or so later and just share what came up. So it's like, if people feel safe in doing that, then that's totally all a G.
Well, everything's optional, right?
Oh, of course. It's always invitation. It's never a forced thing. Okay. Next question, Laura. Yes. Okay. Hopefully you guys, obviously you guys are quite interested in these taboo topics, obviously. Did you find it quite hard to fit in initially and open up these conversations with friends, etc.? I hope that makes sense. Do you want to go first, Dusty?
Well, for me, definitely. So I went from being like in a toxic relationship, really unhappy with my life, feeling pretty insecure about myself, not embodied in my worth at all, really disconnected from myself. And I went from that to stripping, which was like, I did not know how to handle that. I couldn't have the conversation with my parents. I didn't. I waited till my ex-boyfriend told them, because that's how scared I was. I didn't tell someone. When people asked me what I did, like I didn't speak about it openly. There was so much shame around that. A big piece of it was girls around me to support me in that shift, having these other amazing around me, as like they were giving me permission to fully embody this in myself. So I couldn't have done it with all these other women supporting me, but the more that I was connected, the more open. And then now my parents, all of my friends know. A random person could ask me what I do, and I'm just like, I just own it.
Totally love it. And for me, yes and no. Like I've always had a pretty open relationship with my mum. So when it came to talking about like periods, like my whole family knew when I had my period, it'd be like, oh, and I'd walk downstairs and be like, oh my God, my period's so heavy. In the beginning though, there was definitely a lot of fear around being a woman, fear around your period. I had this fear inbuilt of this not fear actually, just this dread about being a woman. It was always in my family. It was always this phrase was thrown around of next time I'm coming back as a man. So I really started to believe that and take that on board of like being a woman wasn't as good because we had so many things to deal with, quote unquote. You know, we had periods and babies and hormones and all these issues, like according to everybody else. So I really took that on board that being a man was better. I also had a bit of trouble, I guess, because my image of success was always tied to masculine roles in corporate environments, because my dad was very high up in the corporate chain. It still is. So that's my tie with success of like money equals success. So I had a lot of unraveling with that to do. But in terms of talking about the taboo stuff, put it this way, I've always sort of been the girl where I don't give two shits what anybody else thinks. That's very much in my astrology chart. My Enneagram is a type 8. I'm very Sagittarius. I've got a lot of houses that are Sagittarius, as well as my rising sun and moon are both Sag. So I've never had that much of a problem. However, even when we would talk about it, there'd be shame with it, and I would never fully talk about it. It took me a long time to open up about sexual abuse stuff. It was one of my ex-boyfriends that figured it out. He'd done a lot of personal development work, and he asked me. And there was a lot of shame around that, a lot of blame on myself. So I really had to, and this is the first time I've ever said this and this is actually the first time I've ever said this on the internet. So that was, there was a lot of unraveling I had to do with that, a lot of work, a lot of anger release. I had quite a bit of, repressed, like sexual assault, harassment, whatever you want to call it, that I pushed down. And of course it was my fault. Don't want to attract a man's attention, all that jazz. So those sort of things are really hard for me to open up, but I've done so much healing and continue to always push myself that now I don't get triggered by it at all. I don't get hot. I don't get flustered. I don't get sweaty. It doesn't bother me. I can talk about it. Of course, it's always going to be a little bit challenging in the beginning because we are innately afraid. We have two main fears as humans: the fear of being abandoned or the fear of death. Now, this one's going to come into the abandonment one, obviously, because you're afraid of judgment, which could lead to people then not wanting to be your friend and then you being abandoned. So it makes sense when you feel scared about opening up to friends or talking about these things, but you guys will love my Cacao and Convos podcast coming out next week with my friend Lindsay from New York. She is like a vaginal health specialist. We just were talking about pubic hair, sex, vaginas, like UTIs, thrush. It was fucking hilarious. And we really just like let go of the taboo stuff. And it's just more of these conversations, where we say orgasm a million times. It's a word, orgasm. Like, we're all here as sexual beings. Whether you've got a penis, a vagina, or a bit of both, you want sex. Like, we're all sexual beings, So you kind of got to think about it as like, if you cut your arm, you tell somebody about it. Your vagina is just another body part, right? But we've shut that down, but we also haven't tied to it of like, it's actually so much more than a body part. There is so much power in it.
So much power there.
Yeah, so much. And it's magical, like it's pure magic. And the more you are able to involve yourself in these conversations, ladies, the more you're able to be supported and held in these spaces where talking about orgasms and vaginas and sex and what you did last night in your infected bumhole or vagina or whatever you've got, it just makes it all a bit easy. Just you wait for the stories on that podcast, Asti. You will die.
There is so much shame. Even growing up as a little girl, like your mum won't even, like, if you're going to the toilet, she won't be like, wipe your vulva. It'll be like, wipe your I don't know, some weird little name that your mum will give it.
I used to call it
so we can't even call it.
I called it a vagina.
That's
a vagina. What the fuck, Monica?
So there's so much shame. Even like so much shame around like
we lost you for a sec, babe.
That part of hour as well.
We lost you.
I feel like I can't even talk on this.
No, absolutely. What did you say? There's so much shame around what?
So much shame around this part of our body. So to disconnect all of the
100%. We lost you a little bit again. Sorry.
Okay. But the more that you can reconnect to this part of your body and reconnect to your body as a whole, the more that you like understand its power and you start to value it and respect it more. And then there's no shame. Because when you're like, oh my God, my body's powerful and it can offer me all of this feeling and all of this deliciousness, what's there to be shameful of?
Oh my God, I totally agree. It was like the moment for me that I realized the amount of power in my body was the moment that I started to research about why I didn't have my period and why I lost it. And when I started to understand and learn why everything was happening, but really be like, oh my God, we have powers as women. Like, we are literally walking Wonder Women. Like, it's incredible. And the moment that I got to actually understand and learn about the power in our yoni and our whole entire body and with our cycle and femininity and energy, I was just like, how can you not love being a woman? Like, I never want to be a man. I love, like, we can create a fucking human. I'm sorry, that just blows my mind.
Yeah, so powerful. And when we're not
incredible.
creating humans, we can create whatever the fuck we want with that energy.
Exactly, right? Like, think ovulation time. You don't need you don't need to get pregnant with a new baby. You can just impregnate and create a new project, a new job, new friendships. Like, it's, oh my God, there's so much magic. It's just indescribable. Next question.
It's
Haley,
limitless.
it says, she says, breaking the drought. I don't want meaningless sex, but dating long enough to get a point of being vulnerable but dating long enough to get to a point of being vulnerable isn't happening. All my guy friends are taken up, so no help there. It's been scarcely too long. Basically, it's been too long. Okay. Juicy. Oh, I'm excited for this question. Did you say that, Asti? You can say it, yeah?
There's no drought. There's always incredible men. All of the only thing that's happened here is you've kind of blocked that out. So if you're focusing on the negative and you're looking around, all you can see is the negative guys. If you don't believe that you're worthy of love, you're only going to be attracting partners that reflect that back to you. If you're disconnected to yourself and your worth, you're disconnected from all of the beauty in the world, including all of these men that could be potentially perfect partners. So the first thing that you really need to do is take a step back and connect to yourself and be your own lover. Remind yourself of how worthy you are of love and of incredible sex, self-pleasure in the way that you want your partner to pleasure you. And only then will you manifest that guy that's going to offer it to you. Because if you can't give it to yourself, no one else is going to.
Oh my God, yes. And I'm gonna jump on this train. Are you cool, Asti? Anything more?
Yeah.
You're good? Okay.
You go.
So what I'm gonna say, Haley, is like, when I realized the point of like, oh, there's actually so many ways to meet people. If you go to the post office, you're standing in line. If you're walking down the street, you walk past people. If you have a car accident, you meet people. If you're like buying a pair of jeans, you meet somebody. And the moment I actually realized like, fuck, there is so many ways to meet guys. And that combined with the moment I set out my boundaries and my needs, it was after my last relationship that ended last year. The moment I went, so I wasn't technically being a doormat in the relationship, but I kind of was almost being a tiny bit of a doormat in that I wasn't fully expressing my needs and I was letting him have quote unquote space when I should have expressed, actually, we just need fucking communication. So the moment I, Haley, sat down and wrote down all of my boundaries and all of my needs in a relationship from a place of power, strength, and love for myself, I have not attracted a single person, if romantically or actually in a friend way, that crosses my boundaries or crosses my needs. And also it really helped me hold myself accountable of like, they don't tick the things that are non-negotiables. Like if a guy, there's obviously going to always be some non-negotiables of like, oh, he doesn't have a sleeve tattoo, I can survive. But if he ticks like all of the things that I need in a relationship and he meets my boundaries, which I've been proven to literally as soon as I got home from New York, it was the most random situation, right? Again, the universe providing. And it was because I set that boundary where I literally said to the universe, I am not accepting and I am not allowing myself to fall into something where with a guy that crosses boundaries or doesn't meet my needs, because I am a high value woman. And I know that there's these men out there because there's living proof every day that they're out there. And like the moment, Haley, I started to actually go, wow, there is so many ways that I can meet men. From that moment forward, I was like buying a pair of jeans before I went to New York, and I met this guy in the jean store and we literally were talking for like an hour and a half, and he was so over his like finish time thingy, and he was like asking about my podcast, and we were just having the best deep soul chat, right? And it just like the universe proved to me again of like, you can meet somebody when you're buying jeans after your Pilates class, like sweaty as fuck, looking chat, like blah, blah, blah. And I just met someone buying jeans. And then this other guy like has come into my life, got home from New York. And it was like, he was checking out my apartment, like as a potential flatmate, checking out my apartment. And he walked up the stairs and it was just like cosmic, holy shit. Don't know what it was. And it was like frizzy hair, trackies on, so unexpected. Yeah. But there was before that moment, and then everything since that moment, it's like the universe is like, yes, 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 yes. Because also I have started treating myself the way that I want my lover to treat me. So really important that you can't expect your boyfriend or your future boyfriend to take you to fancy hotels and fancy trips and not go out to nice dinners if you can't take yourself out for those things. Like you are setting, don't you agree? I see, like, as you treat yourself, you are setting that standard of how somebody else is going to treat you. So if you're treating yourself shit,
and you treat yourself like that, you're vibrating at that frequency of like,
and you're not valuing yourself.
But I think when something amazing happens and he buys you flowers, you're not like, oh my God. You're like, well, of course he bought me flowers. I deserve it, right?
Oh my God, 100%. And even like, of course, this is again why we're doing such a luxurious retreat of like high vibe, bougie vibes, all that. Because if you cannot invest in yourself and allow yourself to feel good enough that you deserve that and you're worthy of that, why would you ever think that your future man or whatever is going to take you to accommodation that costs, what is it, like 14 grand for like a couple of nights? Like, well, then why do you think a guy's going to do that for you, you know? And I know some of you are going to go, well, I don't need a guy to do that for me. Okay, fine. But that's not the point. The point is you need to set a high standard for yourself so that your guy knows she ain't one to fuck around with. So, you know, the guy that I'm currently like having a thing, want to know what it is, whatever. This person, it's like he knows.
You need to fill me in. I need to hear more about
I know. I need to fill you in. Okay. He knows that this chick does not fuck around. He knows she just gets a hotel room because, like, why not? He knows that she travels to Europe for a month and a half and books really fancy hotels and the penthouse suites because she's like, I fucking deserve a penthouse suite, right? And that is setting up the standard for him. So he knows, well, I'm going to get my ducks in a row.
I was just going to say, and the universe always supports you. Like me coming to Greece, I'm in the most luxurious place right now, like feeling so abundant that I was able to commit to this. And the universe has supported me because every single morning I've been here, I've woken up with a PayPal payment. Like I'm feeling so abundant in this space that money is just flowing in without me having to do anything.
It's always the way though, right?
So beautiful. Like, but I just wanted to add to this question.
Yeah.
She's kind of like, Haley, you've kind of put that you don't want to date long enough to get to a point of being vulnerable. But what is that point? What is that point? Like you can meet someone and be vulnerable with them within 30 seconds. And the reason you're unable to do this is because we're all so afraid of opening up and being vulnerable because we're afraid that that other person is going to see a piece of us inside that we believe isn't lovable, that we believe isn't deserving, that we believe isn't right. What we've been taught to shut down. But if you have a foundation of loving yourself, of creating safety, that is all you need. Love, safety, and belonging. If you can remind yourself that you already have those three things, then nothing matters. You can open yourself up to someone, be really vulnerable, because if they don't accept you, you can be like, well, fuck it. Like, I accept myself. Fuck it.
Oh my God.
You don't love me, I love myself.
Mentality. The fuck it mentality, right? Like, know your like, that's why it's like so important to do this work so that you can fully embody your value. So if someone doesn't accept you for you, you're like, cool, bye, next. I'm always like, bye, Felicia. Like, I don't need you. You know what I mean? Because you know that you are a high value woman and that the man that wants to be with you, right? The man that wants to be with you loves every single part of you, every personality trait, every different archetype that you have, every crazy thing that you do, every psycho thing that you do, according to some guys. The man that wants to be with you loves those parts of you. And even another thing with the vulnerability piece, Haley, because I totally get this. This used to be me. One of my exes, actually, he was what really pushed me into seeing this, my side of myself, like so masculine, never let my guard down, right? Like I was saying before, we have these two human fears, either fear of abandonment or fear of death, right? Now, clearly, I mean, I don't know your whole story, obviously, but there's going to be some sort of like, if I'm vulnerable and open up, then I'm going to be rejected. It's scary, right? Our
and ego. That's because you're allowing other people to value you. You're allowing other people to value you, and you're scared that a piece of you is going to be shown that's going to allow him to devalue you. So it all comes back to valuing yourself.
And also you've got this fear of like, okay, so if I open up, if I'm rejected, then I'm abandoned. And then that's going to validate that belief, that limiting belief that you have of I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not worthy enough. And that's why it's so important that you rewire your brain and that you do this work so that you never have these limiting beliefs. You're like, okay, if he doesn't accept me like this, then great. At least I lucked out early. I say be vulnerable as early as possible because then you haven't fucking invested too much time in that dickhead. That's
exactly.
what I say.
You can be like, thank you, universe, for showing me straight away.
Exactly. Like,
think of the right one. I'm one step closer to the right guy.
100%. You filtered one out, right? There's so many fish in the sea. And also really understanding that your ego and your brain wants to keep you in that comfort zone. That's why also doing the work, there's going to be that element of like, I'm scared about doing it. I don't want to do it. I'm scared of reaching out to Monica or Asti or whatever it is, right? Because you want to stay in your comfort zone because we are wired to always feel safe. We don't want to feel like we're running from a saber-toothed tiger. So why the fuck do we want to put ourselves in a vulnerable position that's really scary because we've been taught that vulnerability is scary? Why do we want to put ourselves in that vulnerable position? Because that's going to be scary and our brain thinks we're going to die because we're running from a saber-toothed tiger, but we're not, right? Again, we've been taught when you were a child. One time when you were a child, you would have been vulnerable or showed emotional, let your guard down, and something quote unquote bad happened or you perceived it as bad when your parents didn't mean that. It's never about parent blaming. It's just we always have wounds. You perceived it as something bad and that you were a failure or whatever. So that's made this belief, right? You've tied the event with emotion. So the event could have been mum said no to you with emotion of I'm feeling abandoned, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough. And that belief has then come into your brain and your body of if I'm vulnerable, I will be abandoned, or I'm not good enough, or I'll be rejected, or I won't be loved. Whew, that was juicy.
Amazing. Nuggets.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Chicken nuggets. Okay. Next thing. Amazing. So my husband often pleasures himself, which is fine. However, when I try or want to, I feel bad about doing it, even though we have sex and he is obviously pleasuring himself. Do you mean when you try to pleasure yourself or want to, I feel bad about doing it? Let's go with that because I feel like a lot of women struggle with that about shame around allowing themselves to feel their own pleasure. Even though we have sex and he's obviously pleasuring himself.
I feel like she's talking about pleasuring herself. It makes more sense, but I'm not sure. Do you want to just let us know? Are you talking about pleasuring him or pleasuring yourself?
Yeah, let us know, Brittany. Great. Haley, you totally vibe with that. Okay, Ashley. I have such a money block with the retreat. I have such a pull to do the retreat. My body literally feels so blocked. Oh, then you know you got to do it. That's my answer.
We haven't, okay, but this is how like deep this block is. We haven't even told you guys the price.
And yet you're blocked and you already know it's money, right? When your soul feels that niggle, your soul's never wrong. Like you've either got the opportunity to live in fear or you've got the opportunity to follow soul. And every time you follow soul, you're saying yes to yourself, which means your intuition is able to get louder and louder so you can live from this aligned, intuitive place. And that's where life becomes so easy and so fucking juicy. Like, hello, I did a whole assignment today and it took me but fuck no time and it was the easiest thing ever. And it wasn't an easy assignment, but it was just because I was so in alignment that it became easy.
Yeah. Like you can say no to the retreat because of your money block, but that's just going to keep you stuck in a scarcity state. Or you can choose to level up and say yes. And just in like, we've seen with the calls that we've had so far, as soon as someone says yes, we see them like their shoulders go back, they're like smiling. You can just feel their energy change. Like the work starts as soon as we say yes. Yeah. So as soon as you say yes, you've like said yes to the abundant state. And like that in itself is just so incredible.
Because as soon as and like half the reason I invest in coaches literally is because, yes, Lynn, half the reason that I invest in coaches is literally because of that energetic up level. As soon as you like hand over your credit card and pay an extra $10,000 for that coach for a month or whatever, it's like your energy goes from here to here, right? And that energetic upgrade, that without having to fucking do anything pretty much, you've already put yourself in that higher vibrational frequency. So over the next months, over all of these months, what is it, like 7 months, 5 months? Fuck knows, I can't do maths. From now to October, you are okay, there you go. You are vibrating in already a higher state and you haven't even done the work. I mean, how fucking easy is that?
Another thing to think is like, what would future you, if you did the immersion, what would future you say to you right now? What advice would you give yourself? Because if you commit to the work, better looks, better sex, you're making feeling more abundant. So it's an investment. And also, what is more important? Like, you can have money savings in the bank, or you can be feeling fucking amazing. Like, you want to be living a life that's just like you're turned on, head, body, heart, soul. Yes. Like, is that better, or is money having money in the bank more powerful?
But also, even with the money in the bank thing, and Ashley, I know you know this because you're in my mastermind, even with having the money in the bank, ladies, it's not there forever. Like, it can disappear, right? Your growth, your soul, it can't disappear, but money can disappear.
Yeah, my mum's always like, I need to save money. One thing I always said to her is like, Mum, you're going to be the richest lady in the graveyard.
Oh my God, I love that. That's so true, right? That's so true. Like, you can save all the money, but what's the point of having money just sitting there? It's not up-leveling your life. And the reason why you earn money and do these things and make money and attract money is so that you can grow and up-level and become a more abundant version of yourself. Like, who is it serving by having 100 grand sitting in your account? Like, that's great and number to look at. But like, are you serving yourself and everybody else? You might be serving your ego. In fact, you would be serving your ego, but you don't want to be living from ego. You want to be living from soul. That's where life becomes juicy.
And one thing that I've actually noticed with money myself is I always seem to spend the same amount. So it doesn't matter if I invest in something or like splurge on something, I still seem to have like the same amount of savings. So come to October, whether you say yes or not, you're probably still going to have the same amount of money in the bank. It might just mean like spending more money on the treat rather than like going out shopping or going for dinner. But it's like, would you rather put a little bit of money away each month and do something huge like this, or like go out for dinner with your friends and do the same things that you've been doing? So when it comes to that date, the money that you have is probably still going to be the same.
100%. That's so true. Okay. Brittany says myself. Okay. So we'll go back to her question. So my husband often pleasures himself, which is fine. However, when I want to, or like, as in when I want to pleasure myself, I feel bad about doing it. This is such a good question because I've been asked about this multiple times about like the shame around this. And I definitely had to work through a lot of shame around this, right? What I kind of figured out one day of like, wow, guys like bow down to their dicks since birth. Like, they just are like, dicks are the best things ever, right? We aren't taught the same thing about our vaginas and our vulvas and our yoni, our whole area, right? Our pussy and everything. So it's like from a young age as well. Like, even think about it. It's like, wear a nappy, wear undies, don't run around naked, right? Or it's like there's parents will apologize for their kids running around at the beach naked and whatever. So from a very young age, we're already told to like cover up. We don't even have boobs when we're a little girl, but we're still told to like cover that up and wear undies and all that. And so from a very young age, even though it's unintentional, our brain programs this to believe that we have to cover up these areas and there's something wrong, or there's some sort of like can't be shown in public, can't be shown. And that immediately starts creating shame around there. And then it just spirals on. And Nasty, I'm sure you got a way deeper idea with advice for this.
So it does go really deep. So the first thing that you would need to do is come back into your body to release some of that shame. So it doesn't always look pretty. Like, there's the path of pleasure and the path of purification, and they always go hand in hand. So if you're wanting to tap into your body in a pleasurable way, the first thing you need to do is go in and release all of the pain, all the struggle, the suffering, the trauma, and heavy emotion that's blocking that pleasure. So that can look like hitting pillows, screaming, crying, just allowing all of that pain to come out. And only once it's released, then you can return back to the path of pleasure and fill in all of those pockets that were once filled with trauma, with the love, with the light, with the pleasure. So even when we go back to connecting with pleasure, you don't necessarily need to self-pleasure by touching your vulva or your vagina. Begin by self-pleasuring just by putting oil on yourself and touching your, just feeling the sensualness of that and allowing yourself to connect back to your body in a state of love and bliss.
And it's really important.
Breast massage too. It doesn't always need to be full on like erotic self-pleasure. It can be playful and sensual and innocent and sweet. That's a good starting point.
Yeah, 100%. It's just about making yourself feel pleasure for life, for food, for anything. And it's definitely important to mention, ladies, that you can't just stay where you are and then start loading things on top. You need to release the blocks before you can add the good stuff. That's why I do so much anger release and embodiment and screaming and so much of that work and a lot of energy work to get the energy out of your body. And it can seem scary. And even with my academy girls this morning, like, you know, I do a lot of anger exercises. We have a lot of suppressed anger because we're taught that anger is bad. No, anger is not bad. Suppressed anger is bad. And it can be really hard and scary for it to come up because we blocked it for so long. And that's why this stuff in the environment is so important. And when I first did this, I literally stood there and I was like, I have no anger in me. I love everybody, blah, blah, blah. And then I stood there for like 15 minutes. And then all of a sudden, it just like exploded out of me. And I was just bawling. And I had a baseball bat. And I was bashing and screaming and crying, did the release, blah, blah, blah. And I did the whole thing again because it felt so fucking good after. And it was from that moment forward.
Our bodies naturally do this. Our bodies naturally want to release all of this pain, but we get taught as a little girl crying in public, like, oh no, don't do that, be quiet, like stop, don't cry.
Whereas, like, crying
as a
being
girl,
angry is really healthy. Exactly. Don't get angry as a girl. Don't get angry. 100%. And
the more I don't know whether these emotions, the more they just become blocked.
And then I always say they're waiting to explode like a champagne bottle, and they will explode like a champagne bottle. And that's where it becomes dangerous, and you're going to hurt yourself, hurt relationships, whatever, and cause a problem rather than taking preventative care now to make sure that champagne bottle doesn't explode. And it was from that moment forward when I did all of that anger release stuff. If you're following me last year, I was sitting in my chair in my room in Sydney and I was like, I've never felt this feminine in my life. And it was because I finally unblocked this suppressed anger and pain about my feminine. I got goosebumps. And it was just, oh my God, I got so many goosebumps. It was just the most freeing, amazing, emotional. Oh my God, like my leg hurts. I have such big goosebumps. Like it was just so incredible. And I just want every fucking woman to be able to experience this sort of alignment and ease and love. Yeah. It's just fucking incredible. Like, honestly, I can't even explain how magical my work is. Like, and our work, it's just fucking epic. Hope that answers that question.
I'm just going to add the path of pleasure and the path of purification always go hand in hand. So you can't even necessarily just go straight into releasing all the heaviness. You need a supportive container of love, because sometimes releasing the heaviness, you'll get really sad, really angry, really overwhelmed, but you need the container of love to ground you and to soothe you back into harmony. So this is why it's so powerful doing this work with a group of women, because we create the perfect nurturing container where your unconscious and your psyche can be like, okay, I'm safe. I can release all of the shit. I can get as angry as I want here because I'm in a safe space, and this love is going to ground me and soothe me back to harmony afterwards. So it always goes hand in hand. You really do need both. But that's why I'm so just in love with doing in-person work, because the amount of love that we can build in a space in person, like that in-person.
We've lost you. Are you there? Hasty. Oh, we've lost you. Okay, you're back. Uh-oh, she disappeared. Okay, I'll keep going, ladies. Oh, is she back? Is she back? Okay, she's coming back. And it's really, what was she saying? So the in-person stuff, it's so juicy. And we were saying to our beautiful new lady that's joined the retreat tonight that also our primal there you are. We lost you for a second. I'm just jumping on to say that primal part of us, that ancient wisdom that's still within us, she wants to feel that sisterhood again. That is such a part of us that's just ingrained in our bodies, that sisterhood, those divine women circles, the red tent, all of that time. And we don't get that in our modern environment. We really, really don't very much. So to be able to submerge yourself in that is so fucking juicy and so powerful and so healing.
Mm-hmm. And the longer that you can immerse yourself in it, the more transformative it becomes. So the longer that you're in that space, the more anchored you can become in your new empowered narrative. Therefore, when you leave the retreat or the sacred feminine space, that truth then comes with you back out into like the real world, quote unquote.
Yeah. Okay, next thing. Oh, Lynn said, choose opportunity, jump in and submerge yourself. Hells yes, she did that tonight. Next one is Marnie. You're both so much younger than me, but also confronting and confusing to the point of making sense. Age is just a number. Do not limit yourself because of age. Majority of my clients are older than me. And I love working with older women. I've got a very old soul and I feel very cosmically connected to older women. And I know Asti's the same. So do not hold back because of age at all. Trust me, you won't even notice it when we start doing the work at all.
And to add to that, with the women that we already have age difference, so no one's going to feel like they left out.
What were you just saying? We lost you.
I just said with the women that have already booked into the immersion, there's already such a vast age difference. So anyone who joins on now, there's never anyone who's going to feel like out of place.
Yep. So do not worry about that. Don't let that hold you back. Yeah, you said that you'd really like to go on the retreat. So definitely check out the link that I've put in the thingy-mabob, and I'll post it up again on my Facebook page after, and book in your discovery call. Yes, Ashley, future me knows money isn't an issue. Yes, book in that discovery call. Ash feels this too.
We only have 3 spots left.
I know, only 3 left. So you guys have to get in. If you are really keen, if you're really keen, send me a DM and I will look at my calendar, try and get you an ASAP. Because I know that in my Acuity calendar there isn't much until like late next week. Gosh, I feel like I have so Brittany said, gosh, I feel like I have such a block with money. I feel like I never have any, plus I don't have savings. Brittany, all I'm going to say is law of attraction. What you focus on, you get. So even if you're focusing on the negative, you will attract more of that. There's this thing called pivoting. You need to pivot your thoughts in a very, very short way of saying this. You need to pivot to, okay, you know what you don't want? You don't want no savings. So what do you want? You want savings. So you need to focus on, I have so many savings, but also I'm bringing in abundance. Money comes easily to me, and actually feel comfortable with money. A lot of people can't attract money because I say this to my clients, like, if you were given $100,000, would you know what to do with it? And a lot of people, it actually, like, they'd be like, I actually would freak out. So do you actually know what you would do with it? Would you feel safe and that you could actually responsibly hold that amount of money? Because if you can't, the universe isn't going to deliver it to you. Okay, next one. Yamor, how are you so motivated for work? I guess you love what you do, but how can you start working better at an average job you have? Because I am not motivated to perform at an easy job. So I feel bad and not worth enough to start doing something I love and start a business. It's like there's a block, like there is something stopping me from working and performing better. So I can already tell you right now, it's a limiting belief. Like, you don't deserve to have something better, which is blocking you, right? It's a big fat self-sabotage of, it's easier in a fucked up way. It's easier to stay put where you are because things are easy. Starting a business is harder work. It takes more commitment. So it's a bit of self-sabotage. Yes, I love what I do, but like, I'm finishing my uni degree. Can't say I'm thrilled about that. But what do I love? That end result. So even if, right, and people think like, oh, well, like I should quit my, job that's bringing in my income and just go all into my other business. Yes, to an extent, if you've got the savings. But if your crappy hospitality job that you don't really like is allowing you to pursue your dream job, your why is strong enough that it's in alignment. Do you agree with that, Asti? Because I really feel that if your why of working a crappy job is because it's funding your dream job, then keep rolling with the quote unquote crappy job.
And you'll then have so much more appreciation for it. So it's not going to feel so heavy, and you'll start to like it even more because of what you're potentially getting from it.
100%. And also, whenever I'm struggling with like productivity or motivation, it's like dance, it's moving, it's energy flowing. I've got my things to get me in a high vibe state. I always will support the process. I'm talking specifically for uni where it's harder. I will support my process. So today I had music on. I had my crystals around me. My new coach sent me a bunch of flowers that are sitting here that are beautiful. I had my tea. I was wearing good clothes. So I felt very supported and very inspired. But also I was focusing on, if I get this assignment done by 3 p.m. this Savo before my clients, it's my one day this week where I didn't have clients until the afternoon. And I was like, if I don't get this done, I'm going to be so stressed later in the week. If I get this done, I am going to feel so fucking good about myself. And I got it done, right? Because I was working towards my why of feeling effing good and getting it done. And I put the beats on and I got it done. Ashley's booked a discovery call. Yay. Let me know if you need it sooner.
Amazing.
Ashley, just send me a little Voxer, because you got me on Voxer, obviously, because you're a client. Any last questions, ladies? Otherwise, perfect timing. Wrapped up for that hour. Oh my God, how juicy. We definitely need to do another one of these.
How fast did that go?
That was so amazing. Loved talking to all of you. Loved helping all of you. I hope that you all got a lot out of today's call. Send me a DM if you've got any questions at all, or Asti, and we will absolutely get back to you. Dates of the retreat, all that jazz are on the website in the link. It's going to be fucking juicy. You guys know that we offer the values. There's no questions there. Follow the niggle, follow your soul. Obviously, send us any questions if you've got any questions about it. But there's not going to be any. Yeah, there's not going to be any problems with regard to delivering value. Like that's pretty good on our behalf. You girls are amazing. I'm so excited to learn more from the Boujee ass. So excited to come. Oh my God. Sorry, Ashley, really quick to finish off. You know that sign near my house in Sydney?
Yes.
And it's got the Boujee. That's actually new, that place. And it literally,
didn't they put it the other day that we spoke about the immersion?
Yeah, like that something. Like, so love you too, Lynn. It was so lovely chatting to you. It literally popped up. That store, Boujee, popped up the week that we designed that. It's new. It's never been there before. How crazy is that?
Crazy.
Like it's
all of my numbers, all of my angel numbers. It's like I think it's the.
We've lost you again.
And then the date.
Oh, now you're back.
Sorry, the dates that were there is like my angel number that I see everywhere, and then the actual address of the place is my birthday. Like what?
So good. So meant to be. I know. So meant to be. Of course. Not even surprised. Like I always say, but of course, not even surprised. Amazing. Okay. Well, you have an incredible fucking juicy day. Super jealous.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to do some work and probably reply to some DMs because I've seen some already come through my phone. So ladies, don't miss out on this opportunity for filling the niggle. This is October, so you've got time. Everyone's on a payment plan. If you're worried about that, everyone's on a payment plan, and we cannot wait to do more of these. If you are in the US and you want to know about our US retreat that we'll be hosting next year, make sure you send me a message or Asti a message so we can have you on the list. Because that one, and even if you're Australian and want to fly over to that one is going to be fucking even next level.
More next level.
And Monica will be in the snow, so she's going to be a very fucking happy camper. We all know that.
Amazing, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you.